Welcome back my YouTube channel Old Car Stories. Today, we're diving into a name that still echoes through American streets, police departments, and car enthusiast circles, the Ford Crown Victoria. But not just any Crown Vic. We're talking about the elusive, often misunderstood this car 2026 Ford Crown Victoria, an unlikely revival of a once iconic American sedan. The Crown Victoria has always had a legacy tied to authority, dependability, and classic full-size American design. For decades, it was the go-to vehicle for police forces, taxi companies, and drivers who wanted a big, comfortable, no-nonsense car. When production ended in 2011, many thought the story was over. But in 2026, Ford quietly brought back the Crown Vic nameplate, and that sparked a mix of curiosity and nostalgia. Unlike the boxy versions of the past, the 2026 Crown Victoria carried a more modern, aerodynamic silhouette. Ford didn't just dust off the old frame. They built something new that still paid tribute to the old soul. Underneath, it shared a platform with the newer generation of full-size Ford sedans, but it was stretched slightly for that classic, long wheelbase feel. One of the standout features was the return of rear-wheel drive. In an age where front-wheel and all-wheel drive platforms dominate, this was a nod to the Crown Vic's roots. Enthusiasts appreciated the balance and handling, especially paired with Ford's 3.5L twin-turbocharged EcoBoost V6, tuned for a refined yet muscular performance. Power delivery was smooth, and the driving experience leaned more toward comfortable cruising than aggressive cornering. Ford seemed to understand the Crown Vic was never about track days. It was about presence on the road, longevity, and a certain calm confidence behind the wheel. The suspension was tuned for comfort, absorbing road imperfections like its Panther platform ancestors. Inside, the 2026 Crown Victoria brought old values into a modern cabin. Soft-touch materials, real aluminum accents, and supportive seating gave it a premium but not flashy feel. The layout was clean, with analog-inspired gauges and a traditional gear selector. Even as digital screens handled infotainment duties, Ford didn't market the car heavily. In fact, the 2026 Crown Vic was never intended for mass appeal. Production numbers were low, and it was mostly sold to municipalities, government fleets, and a few loyal customers through special order. That added an air of mystery and rarity to the vehicle almost immediately. Safety and tech were up to modern standards. The Crown Vic came with adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, blind spot monitoring, and a high-definition 360-degree camera system. These features blended seamlessly with the car's old-school charm, creating a bridge between generations. Interestingly, Ford included an optional police package, just like they used to. It featured upgraded cooling, heavy-duty suspension, and steel wheels. A few departments in the Midwest and South reportedly adopted it, keeping the Crown Vic badge alive in patrol fleets, if only for a short while. Collectors were immediately intrigued. Some saw it as a spiritual successor to the Interceptor. Others appreciated it as a last breath of full-size, rear-wheel drive American sedans. The fact that it was a limited run made it all the more collectible. Prices have already begun to climb, especially for well-maintained models with low mileage. From a design standpoint, the 2026 model wore a subtle front grille with vertical chrome accents, reminiscent of the 90s-era models. The rear lights were wide and clean, with LED signatures that gave a hint of modernity without losing that squared-off identity we all associate with the name. Ford offered only a few color options, again reflecting the car's utilitarian roots. Shades like deep blue metallic, graphite gray, black, and white gave buyers classic tones without unnecessary flash. Some fleet buyers even requested vinyl bench seats and minimal digital features. Much like in the older days. On the road, the car feels substantial. Not heavy in a clumsy way, but solid. It gives off the sensation that you're in control of something built to last. The steering is weighted nicely, and even though it's not a corner carver, it feels grounded at highway speeds, much like the Panther's used to. Fuel economy, as expected, wasn't its strongest suit, but with cylinder deactivation and some mild hybrid tech, It performed better than any Crown Vic before it. Owners reported around 23 to 26 miles per gallon on the highway, which for a full-size sedan wasn't bad at all. One thing that surprised many was how quiet it was. Ford invested heavily in cabin insulation and active noise cancellation. Driving the 2026 Crown Vic felt serene, making it a favorite among those who spend hours on the road or simply enjoy a peaceful ride. Though it didn't make a big splash in the mainstream market, its existence served a bigger purpose. It reminded everyone what American sedans once stood for: room, ride quality, durability, and understated strength. In a world of crossovers and EVs, the 2026 Crown Vic was a respectful nod to the past. Now, a few years later, it's already gaining cult status. You might spot one at a car meet, tucked between Mustangs and Chargers, or maybe in the hands of a retired officer who couldn't resist ordering one for old time's sake. But as always, the Crown Victoria wasn't about speed or flash, it was about presence. And in 2026, Ford managed to capture that essence one more time, even if just for a brief moment. Whether you see it as a swan song or a tribute, the 2026 Ford Crown Victoria stands as a rare chapter in an already legendary book. Thanks for joining us today on Old Car Stories. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the modern take on a timeless name, be sure to like, subscribe, and share your memories of the Crown Vic in the comments. Until next time, keep those engines running and the stories alive.